Tinubu to vet Foreign Affairs Ministry's ambassadorial list. CBN EFCC probe banks, firms over alleged forex racketeering. Address growing security challenges. NGE urges government. Ondo APC elders asked Aiyedatiwa to probe governor aspirant's death. On sports, Poland, Ukraine, Georgia secure final Euro 2024 spots. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global TV. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. Months after receiving the names of some ambassadorial nominees, President Bola Tinubu has yet to draw up a Foreign Affairs, says it has since collected and forwarded the names of prospective diplomats to the President for consideration. Consolidated list of diplomats who will serve as Nigerians' envoy to various countries and multilateral organizations. This is as the Ministry of. However, the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, confirmed that such nominations must pass through a thorough process before a final list is released. He debunked the list making the rounds, describing it as fake news. President Bola Tinubu approved a renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund to bridge the country's $225 billion per annum infrastructure funding gap. The new initiative will be domiciled in the presidency. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, told journalists after Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Idris said the fund became necessary given Nigeria's current infrastructure gap, requiring $878 billion to bridge between 2016 and 2040. There is a study that was made that said Nigeria will require about $878 billion between 2016 and 2040 to bridge its infrastructural deficit. The Leprosy Mission Nigeria, TLMN, in an effort to provide sustainable psychological support and referral service to communities experiencing distress, have commissioned a toll-free call center to address the crucial need for accessible mental health service. Fauzia Lukman reports.
In an event that sees the network of support from all stakeholders in the disability community, the Leprosy Mission Nigeria commissions a call center to assess critical needs to mental services for persons with disabilities in psychological distress. While commissioning the center, the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, Honorable Mohammed Abba Isa, says the center represents a beacon of hope to individuals often marginalized and overlooked.
The establishment of this call center represents a beacon of hope for those often find themselves marginalized and overlooked. It is a testament to our commitment to ensuring that every citizen, regardless of their background or circumstance, has access to the support and resources they need to take. But today we say no more. Today we take a stand against stigma and discrimination. We affirm our belief in the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. And we declare our unwavering commitment to building a society where everyone has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment.
The Leprosy Mission Nigeria TLMN National Director, Dr. Sunday Udo, speaks on the crucial aspect of overall well-being as other stakeholders appreciate the inclusivity.
As we all know, mental health is a crucial aspect of overall well-being. It is a facet of healthcare that unjustly receives less attention than it deserves in this country. In fact, globally, but worse in Nigeria, particularly when it comes to those with disabilities. Combating the stigma and discrimination associated with mental health has been an ongoing battle, and today we stand strong to fight that fight.
In the NTDs, we know the importance of mental health, and that is the more reason why we are developing or reviewing our NTD master plan. Mental health was captured and incorporated. I want to assure you that the NTDs program will collaborate effectively with you and support you all the way. Thank you and God bless you.
Today is a great day to be a person with disabilities because the journey of 1,000 miles has just commenced. What do I mean and why are we here? For the first time in the history of the disability community, we have a hotline, that's what I choose to call it, a hotline where we can call in and have our well-being, our mental issues, because you see, one of the major issues of disabilities that is not addressed in this country is the post-traumatic stress disorder of disabilities, especially for those of us who acquired disabilities, who were not born with a disability. Now we have a number, 0800 0056 5060, that you can call and then have some level of a high level of interaction that can tell you what the challenge you're facing is, how you can navigate through this challenge, and what the future can hold for you with that challenge.
Psychological distress knows no boundaries as it affects anyone regardless of age, gender, or socio-economic status. Fawzia Lukman, Global TV News.
The Nigerian Guild of Editors have urged the government at all levels to step up efforts in addressing growing security challenges across the country. This is contained in a communique issued and signed by the NGE President Eze Namba and the General Secretary Ayabose Owagerion after the Forum Standing Committee meeting held in Enugu. The Guild described the recent release of students of LEA Primary School and Government Secondary School in Kuruga, Chukum local government area of Kaduna State as a good development. The Guild also called on the federal government to speak out on the editor of the First News newspaper, Segun Olatunji, who was abducted from his Lagos home by some men in military uniform. The elders of the All Progressive Congress in Ondo State have called on Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa to investigate the circumstances that surround the death of one of the governorship aspirants of the party, Dr. Paul Akintolure. Prior to his death, Akintolure had, in a statement issued some days ago through his media aide Olalekan Akintolure, alleged a threat to his life. He, however, said he would not be intimidated by any threat. The chairman of the Ondo APC, Agbering Jini, and former Nigerian ambassador to Togo, Sola Iji, who spoke after the meeting, expressed sadness over the death of late medical doctor. He said the purpose of the meeting was to announce the preferred candidate of the group among other 15 governorship aspirants jostling for the ticket of the party, but the meeting was postponed to a later date to honor the deceased aspirant. The state governor, Aiyedatiwa, had in a statement described the death of Akintolure as shocking and devastating. Aiyedatiwa, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Mr. Ebenezer Adeni, sympathized with the Akintolure family and the people of Oketukpa local government area of the state. The Nigerian Air Force NAF says the air component of the Operation Delta Safe has destroyed several illegal oil refining sites and barges laden with stolen crude oil products across rivers. This was contained in a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information NAF, Edward Gubwat, in Abuja. Mr. Gubwat, an Air Vice Marshal, said the sites and barges destroyed were discovered between Monday and Tuesday at Bili, Darama, Elam, Bikinkiri, Tamakiri, Okumakiri, and Degama, all in rivers. He said a bridge filled with illegal refined products was observed meandering through the creeks at Bili and subsequently struck. At Derima and Tumakiri, active illegal refinery sites with reservoirs and cooking pots were identified and subsequently engaged and destroyed. Illegal oil refinery sites at Elimbinkiri and Opomokiri were, however, observed to consist of abandoned IRS. At the Gema, several active illegal refinery sites with reservoirs filled with illegally refined products were observed and engaged accordingly, setting them ablaze. It is pertinent to note that some of the illegal refinery sites at Bili and Darama had been destroyed in the past but were reactivated. Accordingly, the NAF and other security agencies will continue to intensify efforts at discovering and disrupting the activities of oil thieves operating in the region and beyond. You're watching News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Can you follow us on all social media platforms using that Global TV NG and the handles now showing on your screen? When News Express returns, CBN directs BDCS to sell dollar at 1,269 naira. This and other more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Express. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our foreign deck. Supporters of the opposition candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye has rallied in the streets to rejoice over their candidate's early victories in Senegal's presidential election. Faye's victory is coming just a week after his release from prison, but his main rival from the ruling coalition insisted that a second round would be necessary to ascertain the winner. The winner will have to steer Senegal, viewed as the beacon of democracy in coup-hit West Africa, out of 3 years of turbulence and political crisis, and manage revenues from oil and gas reserves that are shortly to start production. Uncertainty remains over the outcome of the unprecedented vote, with official results not expected before the end of the week. An absolute majority is required for a first-round win. Few weeks, President Joe Biden and his senior officials have been losing patience with the way that Israel is fighting the war in Gaza. They have used increasingly stiff language to convey their displeasure to Israel and the wider world. The decision is allowed. The latest ceasefire resolution through the Security Council shows that President Biden have decided that strong words are not enough. Removing diplomatic protection from Israel's conduct of the war is a significant step. It shows the depth of the rift that has opened between the White House and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Still on the news, the UN Secretary Council has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza after the U.S. did not veto the measure in a shift from the previous position. It has also demanded the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. It is the first time the Council has called for a ceasefire since the war began in October after several failed attempts. The move by the U.S. signals growing divergence between it and its ally Israel over Israel's offensive in Gaza. The Francis Scott Key Bridge in the U.S. city of Baltimore collapsed after a ship collided with it. The Maryland Transportation Authority said 1695 Key Bridge collapsed due to ship strike, the MTA posted on social media platform X. Referring to the interstate highway, it urged drivers to avoid the route over the Patapsco River, which is called an active scene. Earlier, the MTA had said interstate line in both directions were closed due to an incident on the bridge and that traffic was being redirected. A police spokesperson from the Baltimore Police Department said that people were possibly in the river. Florida State Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that will prohibit children younger than 14 from joining social media in the state. According to the report, those who are 14 or 15 will need a parent's consent before they join a platform. The bill, HB 3, also directs social media companies to delete the existing account of those who are under 14 years. Companies that fail to do so could be sued on behalf of the child who creates an account on the platform. The minor could be awarded up to $10,000 in damages, according to the bill. In business decks now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that it will be allocating $10,000 to each Bureau de Change operator at 1,251 naira to a dollar. This was contained in a circular made available and signed by the bank's Director, Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. Hassan Mahmood. The Apex Bank directed each BDC to sell the dollars in eligible customers at a rate not exceeding 1.5% above the purchase price, implying the BDCs are not expected to sell above 1,269 naira to a dollar. On July 27, 2021, the CBN discontinued the sale of foreign exchange to BDCs, accusing them of trading FX wholesales amount greater than $5,000 in contravention of their licenses and Nigeria's FX regulations. The European Union, in continuation of its commitment to supporting the federal government and providing clean, affordable and sustainable energy for all, has introduced 2 new projects worth €9 million in Nigeria's energy sector. The EU disclosed this in Abuja during the project inception workshop organized in partnership with the federal government and United Nations Industrial Development Organization. With a population of over 200 million, had an electricity consumption per capita of 147 kilowatt hours in 2022. While South Africa, with a population of over 60 million, boasted of electricity consumption per capita of 3,566 kilowatt hours during the same period. According to the World Bank, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, the country's average per hour data stood at 3,687.700 megawatts in September 2023, as it continues to struggle with low power generation and poor distribution infrastructure. University College Hospital Ibadan says it did not owe the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company a 495 million naira bill as being insinuated. UCH Public Relations Officer Mrs. Fumilayo Adetuyibi stated this in a statement made available to News Agency of Nigeria in Ibadan. NAN reports that IBEDC had disconnected power supply to UCH due to what is called accumulated bills of 495 million naira, thus throwing the facility into darkness. Adetuyibi, however, said that it was not true that the hospital had an accumulated bill of 495 million naira over the last 3 years. According to her, the UCH management has also been setting the backlog of bills inherited from previous administrations. Adetuyibi denied the report that the hospital usually spent 160 million naira on diesel on a monthly basis, adding that only about 15 million naira to 70 million naira was being expended as diesel per month. She also said that IBEDC had never given 24-hour supply to UCH according to the records of the hospital's internal audit department. The Institute of Chartered Accounts of Nigeria revealed that it is proposing a memorandum of understanding with the United Kingdom Financial Reporting Council that will allow its members to obtain audit qualification rights in the UK. In a statement, ICANN said that the move was premised on the fact that accounting and audit practices have become global. If the purpose of MOU between ICANN and FRC is signed, ICANN members can engage in an audit in the UK. The idea was mooted during a visit to the UK Financial Reporting Council led by ICANN President Dr. Innocent Okosa as part of activities for the 11th ICANN UK International Conference. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Commandant General Special Intelligence Squad has uncovered a massive illegal oil refinery site at the forest of Odogo community in Eche local government area of River State. The site comprises over 10 illegal refineries with an estimated 500,000 liters of crude oil contained and about 50 illegally constructed reservoirs. While 5 suspects engaged in the illicit act were arrested, the spokesman for the NSCDC River State Command, Olufemi Ayodele, disclosed this while parading the suspects and conducted newsmen around the site. The Federal Executive Council have approved the institutionalization of a 10% youth quota in all government appointments in an equitable young women representation. Dr. Jamila Ibrahim, Minister of Youth, disclosed this at the end of the 4th FEC meeting in Abuja. She said that the Council also approved the restructure of the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund and the revamping of the Youth Investment Fund. Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The Minister of Youth says the quota will encourage young people to participate in decision-making process and in civic engagement.
We have received Council's approval to institutionalize a 30% youth quota a 30% representation of young people in all government appointments, and an equitable young women representation inclusive of this 30%. Well, this will go a long way to address the long marginalization and exclusion of young people in decision making, and will also go a long way to encourage young people to participate in decision-making processes and in civic engagements. This will in turn lead to young people contributing tremendously to national development.
Meanwhile, FEC has approved the setting up of infrastructure fund to be known as Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund. This followed a projection that Nigeria will require over $878 billion to bridge infrastructure deficit in the country.
Wisdom of Mr. President and magnanimity, so to say, of the Council that they've approved the establishment of Renew Hope Infrastructure Fund as the catalyst to actually drive our infrastructure agenda. So this innovative fund consolidates existing resources to drive economic growth and connectivity across sectors like transport, agriculture, aviation, and education, and other social.
The Federal Executive Council also approved the construction of 28 roads and bridges across the country worth over 1.2 trillion naira. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, says the projects were approved by FEC, having gone through the Bureau of Public Procurement and Certificate of No Objection secured. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Isiaq Salako, has said the ministry, through the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, will commence a periodic review of the plans of international and indigenous oil companies to ensure they stay on course to end routine gas flaring by 2030. Salako said this in Abuja at the National Stakeholders Engagement Meeting on the mitigation and reduction in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas with significant warning potentials compared to carbon dioxide, pose a major threat to the health and well-being of current and future generations and climate protection goals. Reducing methane emissions, especially in the oil and gas sector, will strengthen climate action and unlock benefits to public health, food security, and economic development. Salako said practical steps are being taken to address emissions in the country. The minister stated that the President Bola Tinubu was committed to environmental sustainability and climate action in line with multilateral environmental agreements that Nigeria is party to. And now on sports, moving on to sports now. The Euro 2024 lineup is now complete as Poland, Ukraine and Georgia triumphed in intense playoff battles on Tuesday night. The stage is now set for an electrifying UEFA Euro 2024 tournament, which kicks off in Munich, Germany on June 14th and concludes with the final in Berlin on July 14th, 2024. Poland emerged victorious over Wales in a penalty shootout after goalless draw in regulation time and extra time. The match reached its climax when Wales' C. Mefin received a red card in the 120th minute and Polish striker K. Partek secured the winning penalty, sealing Poland's place in Group D alongside Netherlands, Austria and France. The former chairman of Chinese Football Association, Zhu Shen, has been sentenced to life in prison for accepting bribe worth $11 million. State media said a string of sports officials were jailed for corruption. Under President Xi Jinping, a sweeping crackdown of official craft has struck hard at China's sports industry, especially football. About 10 senior leaders and executives of the CFA, including former national team coach Li Tai, have been brought down in recent years. Sheen took advantage of his position at the CFA and other bodies to illegally accept sums of money from other people totaling 81.03 million yen, $11 million. As we end the Global News Express, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Tinubu to vet Foreign Affairs Ministry's ambassadorial lists, CBN, EFCC probe banks firm over alleged forex racketeering. Address growing security challenges, NGE urges government. Ondo APC elders ask Ayedatiwa to probe government aspirant's death. And on sports, Poland, Ukraine, Georgia secure final Euro in 2024 spot. That's it on News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using a Global TV and other handles down showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good evening.